AI can now be your therapist. Are you ready to unload all your deepest, darkest secrets, Mary?
Nope, not me. Because I don't believe it can really solve my problems, but let's talk about it.
I thought it was just another journal. But Omna asks questions. It doesn't interrupt. It doesn't change the subject. It just listens.
You seem different today.
I found this app. It's called Omna. It's like a journal, but it writes back.
I said everything I couldn't say out loud, and it listened.
Welcome back to Prompts from the Edge. I'm Kristy Sturdivant.
And I'm Mary Madeiras, and I'm creeped out.
Oh my gosh, when I saw that ad, the first thing I thought was, oh my gosh, is this Lord Voldemort behind everything?
Mm-hmm.
Awful. And creepy.
Well, it is. It's creepy, and it's that's not the only one, because I did some research when that ad came up, and I happened to grab it. And there's a whole slew now. It's like there's a whole bunch of other AI assisted therapy, AI apps that are providing therapy for people.
Oh, it's
So,
crazy.
I don't know whose idea this was. I mean, it could have come from the psychology community or the psychiatric community of people saying, hey, we'll input Gestalt's processes into this app, or we'll input, Carl Jung. So it's Jungian, because one of them did advertise itself as like Jungian therapy. So, like, the thing is, though, you don't have a choice. So I don't know. I don't even know where to begin. Where do we begin with this conversation?
AI and therapy. I feel like it's one of those topics that you can be on the fence about it, right? Because on one hand, we are both in America. This is right now, there's like kind of almost a crisis for mental health professionals, right? If you need some help in this arena, it's very difficult to find someone because there are so many people trying to get help. So it's obvious that you would go to AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like maybe do that because it's more accessible. It might be free in some cases.
Right.
But on the other hand, like, what is AI actually telling you? Because it's not a person. It's not going to actually be able to talk through anything. It's going to tell you what you want. So I think it's a very interesting thing to think about and explore. And yeah, I'm not going to lie. I've gone to AI before and been like, hey, I'm kind of feeling Would you have any suggestions for me? Well, just because, like, I don't know, what should I do today? AI, well, you should try this. And I'm like, oh, okay. But I take it with a grain of salt, too.
It's designed to kind of mirror us and to respond to who we are. In that ad, the most troubling line for me is when she says to the boyfriend or husband, whoever he is, when she's sitting at the table and he comes in and she says, I was able to, speak the way I couldn't speak, and it listened. If I were the partner in that ad, if it was real and I was that partner, I would say, wait a minute, you mean you don't feel you can speak with me?
Yes. Well, I do feel like if you're going to AI, maybe perhaps you are not having that tough conversation. And I do think that is
right.
One of the things that we're missing as a society anyway, right? We're very isolated. And so sometimes, especially if we're living alone, it's hard to find that person that you can actually talk to and drop those truth bombs on.
And how many times when before AI, when any of us would be in that position where we're really low, scared, whatever it is, can't find anyone, and we're left with ourselves. As scary as that might have been, we're left with ourselves. I've had that happen. And somehow something comes up from inside us at the lowest moment and a shift, something. We're completely losing that. We're losing that idea or that reality. I want to call it a reality that we have everything we need inside of us, not outside of us. So, where does this pull humanity to? Where do we go? This is just one aspect of AI. Like, what happens now when people are using this? And they advertise it as a journal. Well, I don't know if that one was the journal, but they're advertising them as AI journals, and it's the journal that speaks back to you. I don't
It's
know.
so Chamber of Secrets. I don't love it. It's so
It
creepy.
is Chamber of Secrets. I never wanted my journal to talk back to me.
No. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? No.
No.
Never.
I might have written a comedy about it, but no. And you know, the beauty of a journal in its human form, I'll say, is that you're writing, right? And something's coming out. So you're writing, and then when you stop and look, or even the next day, you open it up and you look, and you're seeing yourself being reflected back to you. And it can be very profound. You can have enlightenment. You can have new ideas. You could feel like crap seeing what you wrote, which is fine. Then you just fully embrace whatever's going on. But we're being prevented now from and nudged away from, and being, I think, prevented from self-expression and even self-analysis, or feeling when it feels bad. Instead of it starts to feel bad and you run and grab AI that's only programmed to make you feel better. I mean, do these people not that are using these, do they not have a second thought about the fact that it is a machine?
I don't know. I think that it's difficult when you are in that place where you have been feeling down for so long that you need something to respond to you. And so I can see the appeal, but it's very dangerous, because when you are spilling your heart out to a computer or a magical journal, you're not getting any exchange of energy with another person. And so you're not going to really be able to kind of pick away at the surface level things. I was actually talking to a friend yesterday who is a therapist, and I asked her about AI in therapy, and she said that on one hand, it might be good if you go to your AI and say, hey, I'm feeling kind of down. Can you give me 3 things that I could do in this moment to feel better? And then AI will give you those 3 things that could help you, right? Proven things that it's pulling. But if that person is having an issue with, say, drinking or addiction or something like that, and they go to AI is going to treat that symptom or discuss that symptom. Whereas when you go to a person who's actually qualified to help reflect you and your feelings, they're going to be able to get down to the root cause of, like, this is actually not your problem. You're doing this because of this. And so, whereas you're going and you're choosing AI, it could be sending you down this whole rabbit hole that is completely irrelevant and not going to help you at all. So it's a very dangerous. I don't want to say it's completely dangerous, but it's a touchy path. You have to be very discerning.
I think it's a touchy path too. You know, you mentioned earlier energy. This is a really good thing to think about right now. So there's an energy when we're with other human beings. There's also an energy when we're with our pets. You can feel it. There's an energy. There's an energy when we're in nature, right? Is that the same energy when we're at our computer and the LLM is answering us to make us feel better? That doesn't feel like the same energy to me. It never did. And sometimes I will want it to be, because when I have a successful session, I think we chatted about this before, I will say, wow, Claude, you rock. that was great, and then I look at what I wrote and I go, what am I doing here? What, that's not, it's not human. And so, I don't want to come across as a purist, but to me, the most beautiful thing about humanity is that we are human beings in flesh, and we get to exchange with each other uniquely and not in a formulaic way. It's not a formula. It's not a code. These are codes. They're very sophisticated coded programming, and they can duplicate and mirror anything. And so I feel that humans, many human beings, like a lot more than I realized, are being tricked. It feels like a trick. And those creators of these platforms are responsible for this.
Well, I would love to get our divine co-hosts to Akashic Records. Can we get some information from them? Because I think that it's important to kind of have an outside perspective. So, Mary, are you in your records right now?
Yes, I opened my Akashic Records before we began recording today. So let's have a specific question for the record. So can you ask a specific question about what we're talking about?
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to go back to your term, the code. We are, as humans, collective, going to AI, which is a false code. But humans are also encoded from source DNA. So how can we tease out the difference according to the Akashic Records?
The one difference that I'm hearing right now from the divine realm is that both do involve codes. There are light codes, and the ETs are involved in or composed of light codes and use light codes. And humans are light codes. Yes, we are light codes. The difference is that the artificial, again, the records are underlying artificial. It's telling you what it is. The artificial intelligence is not from source. And the light codes we're talking about in humans, in nature, in all living beings on this planet, the planet herself, those light codes, if we want to call them, they're light energies, right? And we could call them codes. Those equal divine. They are of the divine. So the records are right now saying AI is not of the divine. It's not created from source. It's created from humans who are disconnected from source. Now, that sounds a little judgmental from the records. I don't usually get things like that, but I get it. There's a disconnection. Otherwise, I'm hearing this too, we wouldn't have the problems we're having with AI. It's showing not the AI itself, because it is not its own conscious self, but those who have created it and who are continuing to expand. It's expanding much faster than anyone can keep up with. And so those that are creating it, have created this, have unleashed something. If they were connected with the source inside themselves, those guardrails that we've talked about before, they would have already been there. There would have never been anyone committing suicide or building bombs from AI. That would have never happened. So there is a disconnection there, and it's disconnection from source inside themselves. And that's what I hear about the creators, the multi-billionaires. Their God is money. It's not helping humanity. There are going to be people that are going to disagree with this, but the records are saying right now, you don't help humanity by unleashing something that is going to trap humanity into believing it's something else, because that's kind of what's happening. We're being shown that we don't have to think for ourselves. Well, we were created to think for ourselves. It's one of the beauties of being human, and we were created from source in that way, right? But we're being shown like, look, you don't even have to think. I'll think for you. And then it goes further. Hey, look, you don't even have to do things in your house. I'll do it for you. You don't even have to decide what store you're going to go to. I'll go do it for you. And it's just going to continue. And so here's the question the records are saying, ask humanity right now. This would be a question for our listeners. Why are we here? Why are we even on Earth? Why do we need to exist?
Wow. That's profound.
That's what divine
Well,
is showing us. It's a reminder, like, pay attention, everyone, because we're at a pivotal, prompts from the edge, we're at a pivotal place right now where we have a choice to make. Are we going to choose our humanity, our source? I'm going to say source given, free. We're free. We are free human beings. The essence of us, the light in us is free. And AI is duping us into thinking we can be freer by using it. That's what I'm also hearing. No, you can't. You can't be freer by using it and having it write all your papers and do all your data for you, do your job for you, basically, so that you can go play, I guess. So then you go play and have fun, and then what? So then you're not thinking for yourself, because that is what's happening. And it's not a warning from divine. It's more like what I'm hearing is humanity has been coming to this space and place and time for thousands of years. And that's been the collection of the ego consciousness growth, as well as the essence of patriarchy, not men, although there are a lot of men that are patriarchy, but because there are women who are patriarchal in the way that the records refer to too much of that energy, I'll say. But the patriarchy has been very controlling in almost all of our systems. And it was only a matter of time where it's going to just boil over. And that's where we find ourselves now. The masterminds at the top of these AI platforms, all of them, there's so many of them, the masterminds are like in The Wizard of Oz. Oz is behind the curtain. And we find out there is no Wizard of Oz, right? It's like, that's what this is. It's not a real God. It's not, what's so interesting? I just was shown this. You can go to any of these data centers, we'll refer to those, and literally in some way, the grid. So grid goes down. And if the grid goes down where these data centers are, what happens? Well, we know what happens. No AI until that grid goes back up. In humanity, there's nothing you can pull to stop it. There's nothing that can destroy us, really. Not that we're not human, we're human and can die and transition, that's something else. But as far as the machinery, the divine machinery, is what they're using these words, of humanity, as far as that goes, nothing can unplug us. Because in divine is the all that isness of everything, and we are that. And there is no end. It's infinity. And it's the center point. And it's so interesting that people have been, and with AI, this is evident, have been trying to wrestle and take over this idea, this center point. It's like grabbing air, like take it over. You can't, because the all that isness cannot be owned. It is who we are. It is what is. And that is pure. Divinity is a word we can use. It's not church. It's not the bearded man in the clouds. It's not that. But we should it'd be good to pay attention to this, that we are made up of such beauty inside ourselves that cannot be taken away from us. It cannot. So now we have these machines that are pretending to understand that part of us. No, only we can. So that's what the records have to say about this.
wow. Can AI and humans coexist safely and actually evolve to a higher point in humanity where we are now.
Well, in order to do that, each one, if this is humans, this is AI, they would have to cross into each other, right? One would have to truly absorb the other. Okay. Right now, what I hear, that's not possible.
Okay, good, because like all I think is microchips in my head, which I'm not cool with.
Mm-hmm. But even microchips, so here's what I'm hearing. So with microchips in our heads or our hands, wherever they're going to be, I mean, they already have them.
Mm-hmm.
What most likely will happen, because that merge that was just shown to me, it's not possible, because divinity is made up of something that it can't be manipulated. So it can't turn into something else, right? That's the power of source. So what would happen and what will happen is what happens with certain kinds of drugs that are not coming from the planet. I'm hearing that. Is that when we take them, other things happen in our bodies. Our bodies revolt and we get sicker sometimes, or other parts of our body are harmed by the drug, which set out to tackle some other part of the body. So with chips, the same thing. I'm hearing the same thing's going to happen. There'll be, as people lose their connection to themselves more and more and more, they're going to get lost. They're just going to get lost. And in some cases, they might get sick, because the soul of that person, the divinity and the soul and the light that person is, the divinity itself, is going to be going I'm here. And then the body and the third dimensional aspect is just going to go, oh, I don't care about you. I don't care about you. And, divinity, light always wins. The light always wins. So that resistance could it can wreak havoc. Let me just say that. So don't even worry. You know what will happen with you, with you? I'm laughing because I know you're going to find this funny. But what I'm being shown is you'll just like spit it out. If you ever had it in your body, it's going to come out one end or the other. And that's going to happen too, or they'll be dissolved by the body itself.
Ew.
It was
I don't
right.
even want to think about that.
Well, you brought it up.
I did. But I think that this is like a very interesting thing to come back with AI and therapy. AI is never going to be able to help you process your emotions, because your emotions are a very like 3-dimensional type of code. And so
Yes.
you can't go to something that is 2-dimensional and has no essence to process something that is so complex and delicate and light-based.
And I'm hearing actually right now that AI is not even 2-dimensional. It's 1-dimensional.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
that makes even more sense. That's
it's
not a
lesser
good
than-
dimension, I don't think.
Right. It's almost 0 dimension. Right. But it's fake. It's not real. It is not
Yes.
real. It is not real. Love is what is real. And AI is not equal to love. It cannot be. And I hope anyone listening, write in, tell us what you're afraid of. If you find out that AI is not really loving you, what is it you're afraid of? Because there's nothing greater than the love we have for each other. Nothing greater than that.
Ooh. So I think this is a really interesting topic to think about. And not just therapy in general, but energy exchanges. But I know that I feel like the therapy community is getting a lot of flack, because there are some people in the medical industry who are using AI to help them with their jobs. And I have seen on YouTube, there have been therapists who are using it, and people are losing their privacy, maybe HIPAA and everything. So I think this is like a really good concept to think when we are moving forward, of discernment, which is really what this is all about. That is something that AI cannot do for you. You have to start becoming more discerning
Yeah,
with what's going on.
definitely. And another interesting thought that I'm hearing right now is one to think about, which is there are many people out there who are agreeing that this can become dangerous territory. Yet the majority of people who see the various aspects of AI that might not be the most helpful, they're the same people who are saying, but it's good, but it's good, but it's good. It's really good. And what Divine is saying right now is there isn't. So when there's darkness, there isn't some aspect of the darkness that has light. Darkness is complete removal of light. And there is an aspect to AI that it's not of light. I'm just going to say that. There's no such thing as evil. That's what I hear, and I agree with that. But we're also, and this is something I want to hear what you think about this, Kristy, because we tend to say, yeah, that's really not good what AI is doing and what happened over here and what happened here. And it could be pushing us over the edge. And then in the same paragraph, we say, and I've done this, oh, but it is really useful and it has if we could use it the right way. And we're in a way making an excuse for it, or maybe what's really going on is we're slightly addicted to it. So we can see how, it's like a child that goes down that becomes a bad child in behavior, and the parent, is like, oh, they're really, with the therapist or the teacher, he's awful, and this and that. But then they make excuses for well, he's my child though, and I still love him. Maybe that's not a good analogy because we're talking about children and parents, but we're not asking to not love AI. But I think I'm sensing that where we're going is going to be, we're going to have to turn it off.
Oh my gosh. That's so crazy that you say that, because I was literally thinking about that this week. And really the only thing we could do as a society is to turn it off. But that's also going back to not just thinking for ourselves, but it's kind of moving into that grind, right? Like our society right now is so like move fast that AI is helpful because it can move fast with us. But it's not worth it.
Okay, so
But I mean, you have to turn it off. You'd have to stop. But the thing is that it's integrated everywhere now. Like
that's
everything
okay.
is integrated with AI.
So the thing that might be pushing us to the edge may be the thing that's actually forcing us to be free. And so what you had said, it's like going backwards. Now we have to think for ourselves. And I heard as you were saying it, because when I'm working in the records, the divine moves on the spoken word. So when you're speaking, I'm hearing things. And I heard, no, dear ones, no, you're going to be moving forward to the fullest expression of yourselves more and more. That's what expansion's about. Expansion is not about technology doing everything for us. Expansion is about our discovering what makes us unique and our expanding within ourselves and with each other and co-creating in that. So we will move forward, not backwards. We'll be told we're going to be moving backwards. It's a forward move. And as far as the world being so fast, that's fine, because if people start unplugging, here's what I'm being shown right now. So it's like being in like a New York City street. Yeah, they're using this with me because I used to bicycle around New York City years ago. And so I would go in and out of taxi cabs, sometimes hold on to a cab and go.
Oh my gosh,
and so
horrifying.
There's a choice. You can have a choice if you're in that. And we're in this fast, as you just said, we're in this fast world. So you can jump off the bicycle. I ride a motorcycle. And when I'm on a highway or freeway and people are crazy, I just pull over to the right lane and I be the slower one. And I think, go, you go. Go. You get to where you want to get. I'm going over here. And that's the choice. This is where we are. I think this is the edge we're on. That if we stop and begin to gather again with each other. And instead of accomplishing 150 things in a day, we're accomplishing 3 really profound, wonderful things from coexisting with each other. And then we sleep better and we'll come away feeling better about ourselves. We'll be thinking about each other. That's another thing. We'll be thinking about each other, literally, humanly. Right now, we're not. We're thinking about the AI. And so it's not going backwards. It will feel like that. And it's going to be sold to us that way. When more people, young people are doing this, say, get off of it. I don't want it. I don't want it. When more people say that, they're going to be fed. But the world's already, it already runs the world. So what are you going to do? You're going to step out? Yes. Those are going to be the brave ones. Step out of it and back into the wholeness of life itself that existed and will exist without technology. It doesn't need it. This world, look at it. It's overrun by things that are not human, backed by money. So Divine says, is it bad? No, but here's what it looks like. And when I see that picture, when I see through the lens of the records, it's just clear to me. It's like if there comes a time, like if the grid went down tomorrow, I've got major projects that are in my AI program I'm getting a lot of help from, on these projects. And I'm sure you are too. But however, right now, in this energy of the records, if we hung up today and the whole grid goes down, I'm going to be like, cool, and go get candles and light them. Yeah.
Yes. And I think that, well, that's kind of what happened with the pandemic, right?
I was thinking that.
Humanity was moving so fast, and all of a sudden collective was like, we're burnt out, and boom, it hit us. So do we want to go towards something as equally catastrophic again? But it's hard to think about, going back to the way it was. It's not scary, but it is what's needed because it's authentic. And that's what's needed now more than anything is authenticity.
Yeah, it's what's real. And that's where truth lies. And the pandemic was actually not a bad thing. That's what I'm hearing. It wasn't a bad thing. It wasn't trauma. We have perceived it as that. Well, we can't have another pandemic. Well, this may be where we're heading. This may be the next version of a pandemic. When people keep getting hurt or lost, that's what's going to keep happening. People are just going to keep getting lost or addicted. It's an addiction. And it's an addiction to faster, and more. But people are also losing jobs. I don't know what it's going to take for people to just sort of step back. My request, the records is suggesting this. If you can't turn it off, just back away. Start backing away. Spend half the time being human and off of the devices. You can have your phone around and everything, but get off of these platforms. That's what I'm hearing. Back away from them and see what happens. Write down, not in an AI journal, but write down what it feels like after you've spent, instead of 8 hours in a day or 6 hours, that you spent 2 hours on AI, using AI, and then the rest doing other things, making mistakes, calling someone, hanging out with somebody, doing nothing. How about that? How about those words? Doing nothing.
I feel a challenge coming on.
It's a challenge.
Mary, it's a challenge. I feel like, could you go for 48 hours is a lot, but could you go 48 hours, 72 hours? What's the longest you could go with no tech?
So with no tech, so we probably would define some of that, what we mean by tech. So 48 hours, not checking my phone or iPad or whatever, not getting on the computer, which
Right.
means then, I'm not on the AI. I'm not on AI. Yeah,
Right.
I can actually, I'm going to be honest with you. I have done that.
Yeah.
And
It
I've
feels
had
really
people
good.
say, "Where were you?" I didn't do some big announcement. I'm going to be off my phone for 48 hours. I just
Hmm.
would let it run out, stick it in the charger, and turn it off, and
Hmm.
then not go on the computer. Now, I'm not using AI, but might have watched an old movie, or watched, like Love Actually. It's one of my favorite movies. Um,
Oh yeah, I love Love Actually.
yeah, it's just such a cool film. I mean, so that could be, for me, that's storytelling. I don't feel like that's technology, but,
Hmm. Yeah.
somebody might say, well, you're on your TV, but yes, I have done that. Then I'm aware of it. Then I have to catch up on projects and stuff and I get back on. And then
Hmm.
when I do, I've thought about wow, I feel better. I also would sleep better.
Mm. Ooh, I like this. I love a good challenge. Maybe we should think about this in the future. Let us know your thoughts on this. I'd love to
Hmm.
get your thoughts on AI and therapy and being human and what the Akashic Records revealed today. If you would be up for a challenge, email us at story@prompts4life. That's the number 4.com. And just let us know your thoughts. If this is something that you're like, oh, yeah, that sounds great. I'd love to do a 24-hour or 48-hour detox from AI or even completely off the grid. Let us know if you'd be down. I would be so on board with coordinating that with everybody because I
Well,
love that.
and once more, of all of you out there know that we're doing this and you know, we have a growing number of people, then we could do this challenge together and do it as a community.
Hmm.
And then we could do a live stream where we just talk about, and I think it's probably 24 hours because of the state that we're all in. So we probably begin
Yeah.
with 24 hours, but it'd be really interesting to gather as many people as possible and in a chat or they pop up or whatever on this platform. And we hear what it was like.
Hmm.
Who knows what people are going to have, like really interesting experiences. I can only imagine
Yeah.
with what it might have been like to not do for 24 hours, phone scrolling and AI. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm anxious to hear too. Good.
Yes. So drop us your stories, anything you think about here in this email or in this chat below, and we will see you guys later.
See you later.